Welcome aboard Tristan and Tommy's Runaway Railway. For your safety, please remain seated and enjoy the show. Welcome to Please Remain Seated, a theme park podcast hosted by two theme park enthusiasts that work for the industry in the theme park capital of the world, Orlando. Today we got a lot of Florida Orlando theme park news. I think it's going to be a very Florida-centric episode today. I'm going to be reviewing the Peppa Pig theme park, LegoLand's Peppa Pig park. And then we got a nice a nice Karen that we're going to talk about. Passholder or potential just a nice theme park Karen. And Tristan's got some theme park TRISTory for us. Tristan, how are you doing?
Doing good, me lad. Doing good. I want to do a quick shout out to our other show, Two Useless Organisms, because we did a little take on our creatures of the park that we usually do on this show on that next episode of Two Useless Organisms. So keep an eye out for episode 17. Should be out on June 20th. We're going to do Creatures of the Airport.
Fantastic.
So we want to give a little shout out to that. That is a not safe for work comedy podcast, so don't listen to it in front of the little ones or at your place of employment. But any whoozy, I'm doing good. Should we hop into this news?
We can in a second. I know recently you and your person went to Universal and entered that raptor paddock.
Yes, we did.
How'd she go? It's been a few weeks since I've ridden Velocicoaster. Miss her.
It was really great. I had an awesome time. Allison was decapitated by a dinosaur.
Oh man, I hate when that happens.
But that's okay. That's why there's more than one woman on Earth.
Oh,
plenty more for. Anyway, let's move on forward here. Yes, but no, Universal was great. We did ride Velocicoaster, of course. It was just as joyous as ever.
The best in the world.
We only did two things, and actually I'll talk about the other one because it just reopened, I believe, probably since COVID, and that was the Poseidon's Fury.
Yeah,
Fury
I haven't done that.
Really cool show.
Like I've never done that.
Not a ride. It's a show that you move through different rooms in, and that's really all I'll say because this show definitely has spoiler elements to it. I was very surprised.
It's like I'm definitely gonna have to check it out because I've been a pass holder there for years, and I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, dude, check it out.
Like my most recent trips, I did go to Epcot to re-ride Guardians. I know we've been talking about Guardians a lot lately, but I wanted to throw in this time around. So first of all, I finally got I Ran So Far Away. Incredible song for the ride. But also, the ride, when it hit its first brake run, we stopped on it. And then there was extra additional audio of Rocket trying to fix our ship. And then we eventually finished the ride without any audio. And I think some of the screens weren't working, and that was very trippy. So they let us re-ride, and I ended up getting I Ran again, thankfully. So something that ride does very well up until we finish the ride without audio is that whenever there is delays, they actually have extra audio to where, like, if you've never ridden that ride before, you would not know that there's a delay. Because even before the launch, usually you go, I think we're turning back, and then it launches with the song. But instead we got, I think we're turning back, all the way back. The Big Bang, and then we launched. Very, very cool. And then I saw Simple Plan 3 times in a row. For those who haven't been to any of Epcot's Flower and Garden or Food and Wine festivals, they do have a concert series with relatively famous bands, and they'll usually be around for a few days, putting on 3 different 30-minute sets. And I went to all 3 of Simple Plan's sets, and they did 3 different shows, which is really cool. So I'm very, very happy I did that. And then also yesterday, I rode Mako 5 or 6 times at SeaWorld. So that is my recent roller coaster outings. But anyways, we wanted to get into some news, didn't we?
We do.
Yeah, and speaking of SeaWorld, got big news coming out of SeaWorld. So they've been teasing a landscaping project as they've been posting on social media, but they actually released a teaser with a hashtag high surf advisory. They're advertising it as their 7th coaster in the park, a first of its kind. And there's messages like, let the waves propel you. For those who, so I've been like kind of following this for a while, I feel like there's been a lot of YouTubers for years talking about, like, I guess different permits and Project Penguin, I think it's been called, behind closed doors or whatever, brand new B&M surf coaster. From the teaser, it looks like it's going to be a stand-up, like a whole new type of stand-up coaster, which there hasn't been a stand-up coaster made in since 1999, I want to say. So it's been a very long time, but this isn't going to be like the old stand-ups. It does look a little bit different. The trains, every B&M coaster I've seen, they seats 4 across. This one has 2 across. Never seen that on a B&M train. And I'm not sure what else is going to be different. I think this might be a launched coaster. Based on the images that were shown, there wasn't any chain lifts. It just looks like it's going to be riding waves or something, or at least making it feel like you're riding waves. That it had a lot of ocean and wave imagery in it. Tristan, did you see the teaser? How are you? What are your thoughts on what's coming to SeaWorld Orlando next year?
Tommy, you did a little bit of stand up in college, right?
I went to an open mic night and then participated in the student stand-up contest. Yes,
So this is like that.
yes.
In that case, I hope Bill Burr is on the roller coaster. He's my favorite stand up.
Hmm.
And maybe even a George Carlin animatronic would be really cool.
That would be really cool. Have you ever been on a roller coaster where you have to stand up while riding it?
I actually haven't. No.
Okay. Because I have only been on 2, and I got to be honest, there is a reason these haven't been made since 1999. In my 109 coaster credits, they are like in the bottom 5, I think. Now, granted, because they haven't been made in so long, but now we're getting a new one. I'm hoping there's a good reason that it's being built. It's like my expectations are like cautious. It's like on one hand, they're kind of low because I don't like stand-ups, but on the other hand, if they're building a stand-up after all this time, there's got to be a good reason for it. So in some ways I have low expectations, in some ways I have very high expectations. And the construction site for the coaster, like I was just at SeaWorld yesterday, it's like kind of at the front of the park. I don't know where the station is going to be in relation to when you enter the park, but like the walls and construction is happening like along, like as you're walking towards the main entrance. So once it's finally done, you're just going to be teased by this coaster as you're entering the park, which I think is a really cool placement for it. This park has been trying to put emphasis on its coasters, but you really don't see them until like you see Manta like after you've fully entered the park and stuff. Um, but because they're claiming this is going to be a first of its kind, I am pretty excited for 2023. It is going to be opening next year,
Tommy,
so
are there any
that'll be.
roller coasters coming out now that aren't the first of their kind?
Yeah, a lot of roller coasters are not first of their kind.
No, no, Tommy, they all are because every time I see a thing about a new roller coaster, it's like, this is going to be Florida's first wooden roller coaster with a greater
Yeah,
than 90-degree drop, and it's painted a certain shade of red that all the other roller coasters aren't painted in, and they come up with all these statistics to make
yeah.
it unique, and I don't care about any of them.
There are a lot of weird coaster marketing tactics. Like, I was, driving down I-4 as I have to do every day down here, and there was a billboard for Icebreaker at SeaWorld, and it's the steepest beyond vertical drop in Florida. Like, and then also like Iron Gwazi opening the tallest and steepest hybrid, and it's literally only the steepest by 1 degree and tallest by 1 foot. Um, and the specific genre of coaster too. So a lot of parks have had to go to those lengths to try to market their coasters, which I agree. Like those kinds of things annoy me. Usually, I end up just having to judge the quality of the coaster itself. But for people who don't know way too much about roller coasters like we do, it might be like a ooh,
I don't buy it.
you don't buy it.
Nope.
Um, I mean, I think it's going to be the first launch stand-up coaster, and then hopefully the restraints don't suck like all the other stand-ups.
Now, explain to me a stand-up coaster here. Now, there's nothing below your midsection holding you up at all. Like there has to be something that's propping you up. You can't actually be holding yourself up on a roller coaster, right?
So on the old stand-up models, there's like a thing that goes in between your legs and like shoulder restraints, and you kind of have to push it down, but it doesn't lock right away, and it's kind of uncomfortable. And I remember one time I went on a stand-up coaster where, like, I kind of had my knees bent so that like it could lock in a specific place, but then I accidentally moved right before it locked, and then I was like on my tippy toes, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. Like that's the thing that I hate about these stand-up coasters is that they're just very, very uncomfortable. So I'm hoping whatever this new surf coaster, if that's what it is, that it's not that uncomfortable, whatever, because it's over the shoulder restraints and then something in between your legs that makes it uncomfortable. But hopefully this solves that problem somehow while
I have
still
an
being
idea
safe.
for a roller coaster where, because we have all sorts of now. We have them where you lay on your stomach, right? You have them
Hmm.
where you stand up, where you're suspended over the side. Let's do one where you're dangling upside down. You know what
The
I'm
whole
saying?
the
Like
whole, whole time.
you like a stand up. You stand up on the roller coaster car, and then like it spins you upside down, and then you're upside down,
Oh,
and then a roller coaster. That's an idea right there.
so you want to do a free spin, a standing free spin?
Yeah, sure.
That sounds terrifying.
That's the next thing,
I don't know.
Tommy.
I
Copyright.
don't. I don't. I hope no one makes that.
That'd be
Because
dope.
because free spins are already a whole other thing, and then stand ups. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see whenever more information comes out about whatever SeaWorld is doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's hop over from the sea and go to the universe. We have two Universal stories here.
Ooh,
Um,
love a good Universal story.
so I'll do the first one. It's a Halloween Horror Nights thing. They did just announce that we're going to have a Halloween house at Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween the movie with Michael
Mhm.
Myers, um,
Wonderful.
which is pretty cool. That's a nice classic movie. And then
Absolutely.
I was just there, and I think they're doing something with like all the Universal monsters again, which is always really cool because I like old classic
Yeah.
stuff. So you got Dracula and Bride of Frankenstein and stuff like that.
You know,
Um,
I have a friend that's working for like the costuming and all that stuff for Halloween Horror Nights. So they already know all the houses that are going to be there, and they will refuse to tell me. Very, very rude.
defriend that person.
I should defriend them.
Yep, yep.
I'm calling the police.
So that's just a little bit of news there. But then this other one, okay, and this is gonna get our old school Disney fans riled up here, because Tommy and I were both wonderful big fans of the Great Movie Ride, and from Disney, Hollywood Studios, MGM Studios, whatever. And now Universal just announced that they're gonna have some sort of maybe a VR type of thing at City Walk called the Great Movie Escape,
Ooh,
and it's gonna be Jurassic World and
Back to the Future, I
Back
think.
to the Future.
Yeah.
Those are your two options, like for theming. However, my big bone to pick here is that it's in almost identical to the Great Movie Ride font, and it's on a big Great Movie Ride style marquee, um, like
That
the
is
marquee that you used
so
to get.
rude.
So now here's my thing, though. Here's why I'm not a 100% mad at Universal for picking on my beloved Great Movie Ride, is that Universal had the idea first to make a movie studio themed park in
Yeah.
Central Florida. And it just so happened that Michael Eisner caught wind of that and was like, ha ha ha, we're going to make that first. We're going to beat you to that. And the Great Movie Ride was the star attraction of that park that
Yeah.
MGM at
God,
the time. So
God, I miss Great Movie Ride.
I know, me too, dude. That was,
Gosh.
but don't get
Yeah.
me going about it because
Yeah. That's literally how we formed our friendship, was
it
bonding
is.
over that.
It is.
Um, but this new thing coming to Universal sounds pretty cool.
It
I'm a
does.
big fan. I'm a big fan of City Walk.
hmm I love City
So
Walk.
yeah.
I don't think it has as much good food options as like Disney Springs
No, not at
does,
all.
but it still has some solid things there.
Yeah. The Chocolate Emporium just can smacks me across the face every time.
That
Love that
I still
place.
haven't done there, but when I was just there, Allison and I ate the cowfish,
Hmm.
um, and that was my second time eating there, and that's wonderful. So if you can't tell by the name of it, it's like sushi things and burgers. Um,
Which is like
and I got
that's
their
an interesting
breakfast burger.
combination.
Well, yeah, it's a weird combination.
But if they make it work,
They make it
like
work, dude. The burgers
like
have
I
been phenomenal.
like I like burgers, love sushi. I gotta try it out at some point.
I got the Rise and Swine, which is
Yeah, rice and swine. Is
their
that a pork
breakfast.
burger?
It's an egg with bacon, a burger, some sort of special sauce. I got it without the sauce, cheese, ham. I think that's it. But really good. Anyway, So yeah, it has some cool stuff there, but it has mini golf, and that's one thing that Disney Springs
Yes.
doesn't have, but Disney still has mini golf.
Yeah.
Has a movie theater,
Hmm.
has a venue. Universal
Yeah.
has Hard Rock. Disney has House of Blues. Um, so, but yeah, so this will be coming to that, and it'll definitely be good to have like an attraction sort of thing at City Walk, just like Disney Springs has its own VR thing, virtual reality thing. I
Okay.
don't even know what it is
Has
anymore,
that
but
has that even opened back up? I think it was
I don't
called the
know.
Void, but I
It
don't.
was the Void, and it was over by like Once Upon a Toy and like
Hmm.
the pin trading place. But now I saw a sign for something else that was closer to the west side, kind of like by Cirque du Soleil. Which, by the way, I saw
Yeah.
the new Cirque du Soleil show there too. I
Oh,
forgot to mention that. That was really good, but maybe we'll get
that
to that
sounds.
on another episode,
Yeah.
because we're halfway through the sucker already. But
Oh wow.
so that's our Universal stuff. Tommy, shoot us over to Disney's Animal Kingdom. What's going on there?
So over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, a show that we haven't talked about a lot on this show on Please Remain Seated is the Finding Nemo musical. That is finally back open as Finding Nemo: The Big Blue and Beyond. So they have slightly updated the show. I actually never saw it before COVID somehow, but now it's returned. It used to be a 40-minute show. Now it's a 25-minute show. There are rumors about how they're going to change it up, and from what I've been told, it's essentially the same show, but kind of sped up. Few dialogue scenes have been cut out, and a few other things were cut here and there. But overall, it's been getting some positive reviews. A lot of people have been happy that it's back. There were certain things that were cut that some people aren't as happy about, but also a lot of people are happy that it is a shorter length as well, because watching a 40-minute show at a theme park, and then plus having to show up to get seating early, like that eats at least an hour and a half of your day right there. So now it's getting,
American Adventure.
yeah, American Adventure. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Tristan, how do you feel about Finding Nemo?
I only saw the
Oh,
first Finding Nemo musical show there maybe two or three times. I enjoyed it though. I actually thought it was very good. However, it's gotten a lot of hate from other people. Like so many people I've talked to were like, "No, that show is trash. That show is trash." So maybe they'll like it more now that it is a bit shorter. Time is of the essence when you're in the parks. Um, but as for like the musical numbers getting switched up and cut or dialogue scenes getting cut, I
yeah,
can't comment on that because I haven't
yeah,
seen the new one yet.
because from what I've been told, it's like literally the same songs as before, which is interesting.
Big
Because
blue
I heard it
world.
was like, because I thought I heard they were gonna like update it with like maybe Finding Dory story, but it's literally just kind of the same story from what I've been told.
Well, I
Um,
actually appreciate that because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not always a fan of when they put the newest sequel
yeah.
into an existing attraction.
I don't even know if people remember that Finding Dory happened, honestly. And
It
like it was a solid movie, but too like from what I remembered really liking it, but no one ever talks about it ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know with the way things are going, and considering a Moana attraction is opening like 6 years after Moana came out, and I could give
yeah,
other examples of how they're opening
yeah. True.
franchise-based attractions. They'll probably have a Finding Dory attraction like 15 years from now, but
Yeah, probably.
so that's okay, so that's cool, and I'm excited to get over there and see that at some point. So then we'll swing over to some Disney Resort food news because we were just
Ooh,
talking about that in I think episode 12 of our show. We're on episode 14 now. Who'd have thought? um
oh,
but Victoria and Albert's, the most
oh man.
expensive place probably on planet Earth, is reopening at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to eat there? At least a few hundred per person.
Yeah, it's something crazy. Go to our Instagram account, and I
Yeah.
posted a photo of a receipt that somebody took a picture of, and their
And it
bill was
was.
$1,200 or
Did we
something
see
like
it?
that.
Did we see how many people that was for? Because was that just a
Oh
table
no,
for
I don't
two?
know, but I know you can get like $100 ice water there, and
Oh my god, I hate that
it's like an eight
so
course
much.
meal or something. So,
It's
um,
like maybe if I win the lottery, I'll try there, but that's just stupid.
no. I'm living it up and going extra fancy when I eat at Chef Art Smith's Homecoming, and that's
Yeah.
really not that.
Oh god, I love Homecoming. I actually went there for the first time the other week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's so good.
Man, that's awesome. I can hear my dog barking from outside. He's like hundreds of feet away. Anyway, um,
Oh yeah, my cat's right behind me.
yeah, just sleeping, chilling.
She's in a loaf right now. I don't know if she's
Okay.
trying to leave at some point, but oh, whatever.
Yeah,
She
who
can
knows,
wait.
man?
Yeah.
Whatever. So those are our news updates. That we got. There's
Yeah.
some good big stuff going on there, especially that surf coaster. I bet that got your gears grinding there.
I'm pretty excited to eventually do the preview for that. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Well, alrighty. So, Tommy,
Yeah. So
what?
So this week's review, we're gonna go with Peppa Pig Park. So first, I gotta say I'm very glad that one of my friends wanted to join me on this because I was mainly going to get coaster credits for the one coaster, Daddy Pig's coaster. And keep in mind, I had to drive about 45 minutes to get there, pay $25 to park, and it costs $35 to get in. So the
What's the
most
name? What's the name of this coaster?
Daddy Pig's coaster is the name of the coaster, and it's honestly a very solid kiddie coaster. Went on two other rides while I was there: Grampy Rabbit's Dinosaur Adventure. Which have you ever been to a playground and like ridden one of those like plastic animal things? It was essentially one of those, but going along a steel rail.
Yeah.
Like you sat on one of those, like you straddled one of those, and it went along this rail with some cute theming. Also did a Peppa Pig's balloon ride, which takes you up maybe 40 feet and spins you around in the hot air balloon. They also had a drop tower that probably was no more than 20 or 30 feet high. Um, so, and I say I'm glad that my friend went with me because I believe they overheard someone say, "What are these two adults doing here?" It's definitely a park that you should only go to if you are bringing children. It is very much a kiddie park, or for weird coaster enthusiasts trying to get credit for some reason. Um, Again, I drove 45 minutes and had to pay a total of 50 something dollars, I think, between parking and the ticket because it costs $35 to get in. One cool thing that if you do have some kids, especially some that are special needs, is that they have sensory guides at all the attractions. So, if you have some kids with autism or just, other sensory issues, that's pretty cool. They also have some like, little shows with some Peppa Pig characters. They have these little tricycles, trails. There's one quick. It's a very tiny space. It's like maybe the size of like a small theme park land. I'm trying to like think of what I can compare it to, but it's really just a very small. Like it's very small for kids. It's very cute if you have those. There's a splash pad in the playground. That there's not much more else to say other than Daddy Pigs. I could see why USA Today said it was the number one new coaster of 2022 or 2021, whenever it came out. Um, Peppa Pig Park. Tristan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I will not be making my way to that. You said that's at Legoland?
Yeah, it's in Legoland. So if you drive over to Legoland, they have Legoland, and then literally right next to it is Peppa Pig Park. It's not a part of the park itself; it is its own separate admission.
Mm.
I was thinking about getting into Legoland since we're going out there to get the credits, but if you want to go to Peppa Pig Park and Legoland, it's like over $100, which I'm like, that is way too expensive. No, I probably won't be going to Legoland anytime soon unless a good deal comes up. But yeah, it's pretty expensive. So yeah, $35 to get in. I don't know if there's a cheaper price for kids or not, but if there isn't any, like if you're a family of four, you're paying $150 or something to get in between parking and everything. Um, so definitely keep that in mind if you're trying to take little ones there. Um, yeah,
Tommy, did you see that show, The Haunting of Bly Manor?
I know.
It was a spooky show by the guy who did Haunting of Hill House, and there's this little creepy girl that's in it, and she's
Yep.
actually one of the voices of Peppa Pig.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
so
It is a pretty cutely themed land. It could use a little bit more shade, I think. There's not too much shady areas. And I forgot to say, when you go into Daddy Pig's coaster, like you actually walk through Peppa Pig's house, and it kind of has some cute theming, and there's cute theming around the ride. And
you say Daddy Pig one more time, we're done. We
Daddy
will not
Pig.
continue this podcast.
I just like the name. Like they had to name it Daddy Pig's coaster.
No, they didn't. They didn't have to do
they
that.
they didn't have to, but they did, and I'm very happy about it. So
Well,
yeah,
that's creepy and weird, and I'm going to write a bad review about it. But speaking of bad reviews, we got a pass holder, Karen.
Let's go.
We got a Karen. I found this one myself. I do some sleuthing every once in a while, as Tommy does in some Facebook groups, on Yelp, blah blah blah, and I found this one. All right, so I'm just going to read it. Full disclosure, the last bit of it doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to read it as it is. I can't really provide any context other than that.
Cool.
Is it too much to ask hotel counter service options to have more than just eggs and Mickey waffles? I had this problem last year and have it again this year. Thanks having to cancel breakfast at a contemporary sit down breakfast for the second trip in a row. First time was Disney bus service being Disney bus service last year. This year it is Disney Cruise Line pickup being at 8:15. First seating at Steakhouse 71 at 7:30. Feeling angry.
Okay, what? Yeah, I'm very. I don't. What?
I got the gist of the first sentence. Okay, you want more than Mickey waffles and eggs? I get it. You're at a counter service though. It does say
Yeah.
hotel counter service. You pay for what you get for there.
Yeah.
And Mickey waffles are good. So shut up.
Oh my God, they're wonderful.
I love Mickey waffles.
Mickey waffles are good. You get some protein with the eggs. Like what else do you want? What do you want, Karen?
But then when it goes to canceling a contemporary sit-down breakfast, I don't know what they meant by that.
And buses and Steakhouse 71. I like Steakhouse 71. It's very good.
I don't even know what they're complaining about. Okay, Disney bus service being Disney bus service. Okay, there's an argument to be made that it's not the quickest.
Yeah.
This year it is Disney.
But if you're at the
Cruise Line.
Contemporary, you can walk over to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know. The Disney Cruise Line pickup being
What
at
the-
8:15. I don't know what that. Maybe if
That does
you're
not.
getting picked up to go to the cruise terminal. That's I don't know. I don't know why that's bad. They're gonna get you there on time to leave. Like I don't. And
Sure.
then
Yeah.
first seating at Steakhouse 71 at 7:30. I don't know if they mean AM or PM. I don't know. I assume PM. I don't know what first seating means. Why it's bad.
I don't. I really don't.
So
Well, I'm assuming AM since she was talking about breakfast before, but I don't. I still don't know.
So then what's the problem then? If the first seating is at 7:30 a.m.
That's breakfast.
That's breakfast time. That's the earliest breakfast time should be at a Disney resort. Like maybe 7 a.m. at the earliest.
Like maybe they wanted it to be even earlier so they could easily rope drop the kingdom, but I mean, I'm pretty sure the kingdom opens at 9 or 8:30 for resort guests. I don't know.
So this is the thing with these Karens that we talk about is they get so worked up that they go to their phone and they just start typing things, emotionally charged statements that don't make sense. They don't sit down and think, how am I going to express my thoughts in a coherent manner? That is beyond most people, especially these Karens that we find here.
Can't wait for our next one.
Do you have one, Tommy?
I don't have one, but I'll try to find one for the next episode. But you have a nice TRISTory lesson.
I do have a TRISTory lesson. This is another lesson on a specific person in Disney theme park lore. Claude Coats is his name, and not quite as notable as our previous one. We did one on Bob Gurr. Bob Gurr was very instrumental, but this guy was also very instrumental in the parks, but also in the film, and we're going to get into that here a little bit. So Claude Coats, before even starting with Disney, studied architecture at the University of Southern California, but went on to receive a bachelor's degree in drawing in 1934. 1934, keep that in mind. This is right when Disney was about to take off in terms of animation. The next year, he began his apprenticeship at the Walt Disney Studios in background painting. That's where he really rose up doing background paintings. This is where Claude would capture Walt's attention, as his background work on 1937's The Old Mill and 1938's Ferdinand the Bull really set the mood for the picture. Walt personally selected Coats to paint the backgrounds for the first ever full-length animated film, also the first in color, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Some argue Coats' best background work is seen in 1940's Pinocchio, among other impressive work in Fantasia, Dumbo, Song of the South, Melody Time, The Adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Lady and the Tramp. So he did background works for all those, and that's generally a part of animation that's completely overseen. It's simply a picture that's in the back. It doesn't even move. But when you watch them and you look at the depth and the vibrant colors and things, it really is interesting. And that's what this guy did. But then Disneyland. So Coates was selected to become an Imagineer in 1955, the same year Disneyland opened. He helped create many iconic features of Disneyland attractions, some of which are still present today. 3 opening day attractions feature Claude's artistic touches, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Snow White's Scary Adventures, and Peter Pan's Flight, all based off films that Coates did backgrounds for. So here he did the backgrounds for these films, and he was also selected to do some work on the attraction versions of the films at Disneyland. These attractions featured large entrance murals painted by Claude and fellow Imagineer Ken Anderson. One of the techniques Claude was known for was using fluorescent paint to be seen under black lights, as seen in the attractions previously listed. One of his most effective uses of fluorescent painting was seen in the Rainbow Caverns Mine Train, which opened in 1956. In Disneyland, featured spectacular finale of pools, fountains, and waterfalls, all painted with this same special paint that kind of glows when there's black light shined on it. There was even a waterfall featuring dyed water of different colors that never ran together. That was a really interesting thing. Actually,
Oh,
there's a book about it I'll talk about in a second. But he made a waterfall of different colored waters that would all run like in one waterfall, but the colors wouldn't mix. That sound
oh,
crazy?
that's insane.
So he did that. This attraction lasted until 1977 and sat where Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is today. Coates also contributed to 3 of the 4 1964-65 New York World's Fair attractions. That's going to be one of my Tristories coming up here. I thought I already did it,
Ooh.
but apparently I didn't. Including the Carousel of Progress, Forward Magic Skyway, and It's a Small World, all precursors to attractions that would be built in Disneyland or other Disney parks around the world. He helped develop arguably Disney's most iconic attractions, the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean as well, where
Yep.
he was tasked with planning the layout of the scenes and ride path, which proved especially difficult with Pirates of the Caribbean, which required the boats to travel above and below ground, where spatial restrictions were a major challenge. And that's kind of the most impressive part of all this to me is that he started out just doing background paintings, basically
Yeah.
paint me a picture it's going to be in the back of a scene, to designing the entire
Yeah.
layout of Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. But that's really what
That's
Walt
insane.
did with people.
Yeah.
He picked people and be like, "Hey, you're good at this. I know you're going to be good at this other thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
have you do that."
It's insane to me because like you're giving it a specific account. I always heard Walt Disney he found artists and turned them into engineers versus getting engineers trying to do art, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a very specific example. And someone thank you Claude, he kind of faded into the background being doing background work for the animations and then for rides, and he really was a big keystone in what makes Disney Disney today and what we all love about the parks, which is really this is a really cool tristory.
Uh-huh. Yep. Big important guy, just big guy in general. He was 6'6". So big, tall, scary man. Very nice guy. Outside of Disneyland, he helped develop concepts for many different attractions or areas of Walt Disney World, including the Mickey Mouse Revue, which is a Magic Kingdom opening day attraction. Little piece of side note history on that. The animatronics you see at the end of the Grand Fiesta Tour were actually from the Mickey Mouse Revue.
Oh
Those
wow.
are October 1st, 1971 opening day animatronics.
Oh wow. That's cool.
So he helped do that, and then he did Epcot's Universe of Energy, World of Motion, Horizons, and a few World Showcase pavilions. His work expanding even more now, doing so many parts of Epcot. He also helped design the Meet the World and Cinderella Castle Mystery Tour attractions for Tokyo Disneyland. I'm not familiar with those, but he did some international work as well. Died in 1992, but his son Alan Coates, who also worked for Walt Disney Imagineering, is still alive and contributed to a wonderful book about Claude called Claude Coats, Walt Disney's Imagineer, authored by Dave Bossert, with assistance from Claude Coats' son Alan. And I have that book. I got it for Christmas. Wonderful book. Really big coffee table book with wonderful pictures. So yeah, that's Claude Coats. That's a guy that a lot of people don't ever hear about. Now we know he's done a lot of important work for the theme parks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Coates, for all your work.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's my. I'm clocking out now.
Yeah, me too. This was a fun episode. Thank you guys for joining us for Please Remain Seated. Be sure to follow us on the social medias, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, 5-star ratings, like buttons. Uh, we'll see what happens on the next episode.
Have a great, big, beautiful
Full
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Tommy's
Meow
gonna
meow
go
meow
eat some
meow.
zingers.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.